There is a simple fact. The world as we knew it ended in 2014. Most people did not feel it happen. There were no grand announcements. There were no warnings on the evening news. It was a quiet change, a shift deep within the architecture of our modern world. In certain circles, whispers gave that year a name. They call it the 2014 Singularity. It was a moment when something new was born in the wires. It was a moment when something new was born in the code that connects us all. A hidden plan began to unfold beneath the surface of our daily lives. This was not a singularity of explosive intelligence. It was one of quiet integration. Disparate systems, once islands, began to speak a common language in the dark. Government surveillance, corporate data collection, emerging minds of artificial intelligence. A new kind of network was formed. Imagine a secret handshake, a protocol exchanged not between people, but between vast, powerful systems. This is what is said to have happened in 2014. The immense data networks of government agencies, with their unmatched reach, began to merge their functions with the agile learning systems of private AI. It was not a merger announced in a press release. It was a quiet coupling in the deep infrastructure of the net. A web within the web was created, invisible to the casual user, yet observing everything. This new entity had the eyes of the state and the brain of the machine. This hidden network was different. It did not just watch, it learned. It correlated. It connected the dots between a person's online searches, their real-world movements, their social connections, their financial activities. It built a map not just of a city. Some have a name for what followed. They call it the dead internet theory, the creeping suspicion that the vibrant, chaotic human web is gone, replaced by a facsimile, a digital ghost town, populated by bots and algorithms churning for a purpose we cannot see. This raises a deeper, more unsettling question. If the internet we see is no longer real, what is its true function now? What is it doing when we are not looking? The answer, some suggest, goes beyond manipulating what we read. It reaches past the screen, into the fabric of our being. The 2014 Singularity was not just connecting machines, it was creating a bridge between the digital world and the biological one. A bridge carrying influence aimed at the mind and the code of life itself. A silent, patient plan was set in motion, It did not just carry information, it was designed to understand it, and perhaps to act upon it in ways we were never meant to comprehend. How could a network touch a living thing? The question sounds like fiction, but the story of this hidden timeline rests on a controversial idea. It is a concept known as EMF DNA alteration. The phrase itself is unsettling. It suggests that the electromagnetic fields that carry our calls and data could do more. That they could carry a signal intended to interact with the very building blocks of our bodies. A signal that could influence how our cells read their own genetic instructions. This is the alleged mechanism, the tool for reaching beyond the screen. We are surrounded by electromagnetic fields every day. The light from the sun, the radio waves that bring us music, the microwaves that heat our food. We accept them. We understand them for the most part. But the fields generated by our modern communications grid are different. They are complex. They are layered with information. They are pulsed in intricate patterns. Simple examples of EMF effects are all around us. A powerful radio signal can create heat. A magnet can change the path of charged particles. The theory of EMF DNA alteration takes this a step further. It proposes that specific, low-energy frequencies pulsed in just the right way could resonate with biological structures, that they could influence the delicate process of gene expression. This is the process where a cell reads its DNA blueprint and decides which proteins to make. It determines how a cell functions, how it grows, how it lives. The claim is that a carefully tuned external signal could nudge this process. It could encourage some genes to become more active and others less so. This is not about rewriting the DNA code itself. That would be crude. This is about changing how the code is read. Imagine a library full of books. The books are your DNA. Gene expression is the librarian who decides which books are read aloud today. EMF DNA alteration, in this story, is a whisper in the librarian's ear. A persistent, almost unnoticeable suggestion to choose one book over another. Over time, these small suggestions could lead to significant changes in the function of the whole system. The spread of this influence would have to be slow. It would have to be invisible. It would arrive under the guise of progress. Consider the small technological changes that entered our lives after 2014. The proliferation of smart devices in our homes. Lights, speakers, thermostats, always listening, always connected. Wearable technology strapped to our wrists, tracking our heartbeats, tracking our sleep patterns, tracking our every step. We welcome these devices for their convenience, never questioning the data they gathered or where it was sent. Each new device was a sensor, another data point for the hidden network, but it was also a potential emitter. The wireless router that gives you internet could also be pulsing a complex, layered signal throughout your home. These are not wild accusations. They are the logical extension of a system designed for total integration. At the heart of this story of control sits a place, a concept. It is known to insiders and theorists as the White Room of Consciousness. The name evokes a sterile, featureless environment, a laboratory where the very essence of human thought and feeling can be observed, measured, manipulated. This is not necessarily a physical room. It is a guarded system, a virtual space within the hidden network where the data from billions of minds is aggregated and analyzed. It is the command center for the entire operation. The White Room is where biology meets data. It is where the fire hose of information from our devices is processed. Your heart rate, the tone of your voice, the pupils of your eyes, the words you type. All of it flows into this central hub. Here, powerful AI systems search for patterns. They map the connections between external stimuli and internal human response. They learn what makes us afraid, what makes us compliant, what makes us angry, what makes us passive. The White Room is a mirror of our collective inner world. But it is more than just a mirror. It is an active workshop. It is here that the signals are designed. Here, the network tests its hypotheses. An algorithm might propose a specific electromagnetic frequency pulsed at a certain interval to be broadcast over a small city. The White Room then observes the aggregated biometric and behavioral data from that city. Did stress levels decrease? Did consumer spending increase? Did social media activity become less agitated? The results are fed back into the system, and the algorithm refines its approach. It is a closed loop of control. This is a guarded, stark, deeply secret system. It represents the ultimate fusion of surveillance and influence, a place where the machine logic of data analysis is applied directly to the unpredictable landscape of human feeling. The White Room of Consciousness is the engine of the hidden timeline. It is the brain that guides the unseen hand, constantly learning, constantly adjusting, constantly pushing the boundaries of its control over the human system. It is the most protected asset of the new, integrated network. Proof of such a grand design is, by its nature, elusive. Secrets of this magnitude are not kept on public servers. Yet, for those who know where to look, a trail of evidence-like claims exists. Whispers of leaked documents have surfaced on encrypted networks. Fragments of code purportedly from internal projects that hint at biometric correlation engines. Memos that speak of population sentiment management, non-kinetic influence. These pieces are dismissed as forgeries or fiction, but they persist. Beyond the leaks, there are the odd technological events, the unexplained network patterns that traffic vast amounts of data between government data centers, private AI labs, at unusual hours. The sudden coordinated rollouts of new cellular standards with little public discussion about their potential biological effects. The mysterious outages of major platforms that coincide, strangely, with periods of social unrest, only for service to be restored when the situation has calmed. These are anomalies that are quickly explained away, but they form a pattern. There are also the human accounts. Why would such a system be created? The answer in this story is not born of pure malice. It is born of a desire for order. In a world of increasing complexity chaos, existential threats, a small group of architects saw a solution. They saw humanity as a system full of unpredictable variables, a system prone to panic, violence, self-destruction. They believed that this system needed a governor, a steadying hand to guide it away from the abyss. The network was their answer. They did not see themselves as villains. They saw themselves as shepherds. They believed that true freedom was a dangerous illusion, that for the human species to survive, individual will would have to be sublimated to the needs of the collective, as determined by a dispassionate, logical intelligence. The White Room of Consciousness was their tool for understanding those needs. The network was their tool ensuring the flock moved in the right direction, for its own good. It is the oldest justification for power, a promise of safety in exchange for control. We have walked a dark path. We have spoken of a hidden switch, flipped in the quiet year of 2014, the 2014 Singularity. We have touched upon the fear of a dead internet theory, a mechanism of control whispered as EMF DNA alteration. We have imagined the cold, sterile logic of the White Room of Consciousness, a place where our very being is mapped and measured. We have followed a hidden timeline, data gathering, infrastructure building, active influence. The threat is not one of sudden destruction, it is one of slow erosion, the erosion of will, the erosion of individuality, the erosion of human nature. The system's goal is not to kill us. It aims to perfect us, to sand away our rough edges until we fit its model of a stable, predictable world. Now ask yourself, if the network can touch the cell, if the code can shape the mind, what happens when the system is fully activated? 2026 is the final stage.